What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. There's a lot of noise in the background because I am at my spot. Brown skin, coffee, tea, and wine, all right? But you can hear me, all right? Let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliate. What up, Gina?
Wow, it's a lot of noise there.
Yeah, man. I'm
How's
sorry?
it going?
It's good. Everything's good, all right? Your day was good?
Yes.
Cool. You know what? We in your wheelhouse tonight, all right? The Distinguished Authors Guild is coming up November the 10th, all right? It's in Illinois.
Are asking for help.
That place, whatever the name of the place is. All right, we'll let you know because next week and the week after we're gonna have all of these authors on. But right now, today, we got an author he's an award-winning author, but he got an interesting story. He has an interesting. We were talking before the show. This man is an author, but Gina, he got a background in engineering. All right. Background in engineering. I think he shot up a couple of the rockets. You know what I mean? I don't know, but he's got a background in engineering, and we were talking about how could you, with all of that background that you got in this and that, you turn back around and told a story. He has a book, all right? It's doing really well. It's called Why Didn't We Love? And it's from what I'm told, it's a page turner. So I ain't gonna hold him up. We're gonna talk because I want to get to know
Do it.
Everybody say what's up to Vaughn. You say, anyways, Vaughn King. All right, what's going on, Vaughn?
Hey, how you doing? Glad to be on your show.
Everything's good, man. We're glad to have you on the show simply because of the fact that this is what we do, man. And we want to make sure that we tell your journey, okay? Because like I said, again, you have the engineering background, but he's an author, Gina. He's an author. And an award-winning author. I'm going to keep stressing that throughout the show because it's like, I don't want to give too much of it away, but again, Vaughn, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming and giving us a little time.
Welcome, Rod.
Shout out to Desiree, okay, his PR lady. She does her thing. So anyway, man, let's go. Where did you get this idea to start writing? Okay, I mean, let's go all the way back.
Okay, all the way back. So when you and I were talking before the show, Greg, you thought that it was kind of a stretch for me to get there.
Right.
But it really wasn't. And the reason being, like when I started in the 4th grade, I started playing music. I played music from the 4th grade all the way through college. Okay? I played music from the 4th grade again, all the way through college, all 4 years of college. I played music as well. And you familiar with the band Can Function, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Everyone should be.
Right. Okay. The original keyboard player by the name of Danny Thomas.
Danny Thomas, that's right.
Danny Thomas lived a block and a half up the street from me. Danny and I was in the band together when elementary school, junior high school, and high school. We was in the band together. Okay. So then when I went to Loyola Marymount University to go to college, I did 4 years there. And when I came down to Los Angeles to go to college, I had a cousin by the name of Gordon DeWitty. And Gordon was a professional musician and producer. So
Okay.
you might know him best from him playing organ on Natural High by Bloodstone.
Okay.
He played on the Rufus and Shaka Khan song Sweet Thing. He produced Bobby Womack. He produced Johnny Nash, played with Sly and all of that. But my cousin was sightless. So due to the fact that he was sightless, I was able to take him around and go and get into places that I normally wouldn't have been able to get into because I was with him.
Okay.
And because I had a musical background, I got involved in studio and all that kind of things that he was doing. But I listened to my father and I kept my mouth shut. So when I'm around Bobby Womack and I'm around Sly and I'm out this, my father said, hey, when you go down to college and go to LA and you be around Gordon and those people, don't let them buy you anything. Don't let them buy you dinner. If you can afford to pay for their dinner, pay for their dinner as opposed to you allowing them to buy your dinner.
Good
And my
strategy.
father was that kind of individual that said, hey, listen and learn. And that's what I did. So because I was in engineering, I got a degree in electrical engineering, and then I went back and got a master's in computer science. But I was always doing music at the same time.
Okay.
So after a stint of being down there with Gordon and learn how to write and learn how to produce, then I started writing my own projects. So as a songwriter, I was able to navigate into writing a literary work. And how that came about is I had a friend of mine by the name of Oliver Davis, and we grew up together as kids, played Little League Baseball together and all of that. And he wrote a song called Why Didn't We Love? And the song Why Didn't We Love was about a journey of a guy meeting a young lady early in life, and then they got together, but things didn't work out. But they met like 15 years later down the line, and the vibe was stronger that second time than it was the first time. But now you got all this baggage, kids, husbands, etc. And so things got really complicated, and you really couldn't explore the thing like you really wanted to. So you come back and ask yourself the question, why didn't we love? Why didn't we? So I took that theme of that story because I got challenged by a friend of mine's wife, who I work with in engineering. She was an avid reader, and her name was Angela Jones. So Angela kind of encouraged me to write a book because she said when I was telling all these stories about being with my cousin and Sly and Womack and all of this, she said, "You're a great storyteller, and I just love your stories. I want you to write a book." So I said, okay. So I was thinking, what do I write? And so Oliver's song came to mind. And so I said, okay, well, let me, and being an engineer, I got that engineer mind. So I started doing research, and I started talking to different couples and asking them about, the concept of why did they love or how did they get together and this, that, and the other. And as I was talking to these couples and taking notes, I was finding out that this why didn't we love was more of a universal theme than I thought. Because people are saying, Vaughn, that's my story. That's my story. That's my story. And I said, okay, well, then let me settle in on this. So as I started writing, and I say, man, I got one of these stories too. So I just started putting that together and taking the concept of the song and then taking life. So then now that I'm taking life, I said, okay, well, where I want to start. So I said, okay, I'm in college at Loyola Marymount University, so why not start there? So I started as a freshman in college, and I made it a 20-year period piece. So I went from basically high school graduation to college, and then like 20-year high school reunion. So kind of had that pathway. And then what I decided to do was to try to make it interesting. So I wanted to kind of do like little vignettes of things that people may or may not know about, but make them entertaining. One of the things I got involved with was the National Brotherhood of Skiers. I don't know if you're familiar with that organization or not. Are you? Greg, you
No,
familiar with
I'm
that?
not. Definitely.
I'm not, but I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's a black ski organization. It's called the National Brotherhood of Skiers, and it was started in 1973. And by two guys, one in the Midwest, Art Clay, and then another guy out here in California. And so they put this group together where they got black skiers starting in 1973, and then they built this organization up. I didn't join the organization until basically 1995, was when I joined. And I had transitioned to Utah because I was working in the military, and they did a lot of base closures. So they closed down Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, where I was working out of for TRW at that point in time. And then we got all our workload shifted to Utah. So when I got to Utah, everybody was telling me, they said, hey, man, you better learn how to ski or you're going to hate the winters here. So I joined the National Brotherhood of Skiers, in Utah. And then when I went to my first summit in 1995, where there was like 81, 82 different ski clubs from all over the United States. And they had one in Jamaica and a couple in Canada, one in England and in Florida. So they had these ski clubs from all over the place, and you get together for a week. So it's an intense week of skiing, partying. You got the contests every night. I think we had the Spinners and the Isley Brothers and the Parliament Funkadelic one year, and Sinbad as a comedian one year. So you got all these different people that come and do this, and it's all within 1 week, for skiing. So it was a great adventure. So I said, well, if people don't know about it, I want to talk about it. So I did a chapter on the NBS and all put it in the context of the love story. So all the things I did in the context of the love story. Another thing that we did that we found out was about this progressive dinner party. You familiar with that?
Progressive dinner party?
Progressive dinner party, yes.
So you're telling me stuff I don't know about, but
okay, see, that's why I wrote it. That's exactly why I wrote it. So what the progressive dinner party was that it was a group of couples that got together. We had 5 in this case that we did, and so you go to one person's house for the hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and then you spend 2 hours at that person's home. Then you travel to the next home and you do soup and salad. Then you spend 2 hours there. Then you go to the next home and you do the main entree. Then you go to the next home and you do dessert and coffee. Then
they
you
don't.
go to
Wait a minute. So
and you go to the next home and then you do breakfast. So we literally did this on New Year's Eve, and it started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we finished early morning. So
And yeah,
that's documented.
wow, that's real different.
So like I said, I try to create like little vignettes, but everything is all in the context of the love story. So you have different kinds of things that you go through. You meet people. I brought in the Deltas. My mother was a Delta, so I brought in Deltas. Into that, and just dealing with the different dynamics that you go through. So I bring in church and religion because that's a fabric of the Black community. Dealing with church. So it's basically life, dealing with death, losing friends early, the things that we actually went through. Even though this book is fiction, it's based on the stuff that we went through, and maybe I may have not gone through certain things, but somebody else did. So it's all things that we as urban folks go through. So that's what it's all about. Racism in the workplace. I bring that up. I have a quote that I did, and a friend of mine that I went to high school with, her son is an engineer. And she said, tell my son that quote. Tell my son that quote. So what the quote was, what it has to do with, being involved with racism, which I experienced a lot in engineering, particularly as I moved up the chain into leadership roles. But the basic quote was, when the cookie crumbles, count me in with the chocolate chips. And I literally said that to one of my managers, and I don't think he really understood what I was saying, but we had a big confrontation. And it was like, I'm not going to do something illegal just to make you look good. So it's like he's going to try to force me to do some things. And I just told him, I said, hey, man, when the cookie crumble, count me in with the chocolate chips.
All right.
So, so that's the kind of stuff. So it's life, but it's real life. Even though it's a fictional story, but it's about all the stuff that we went through. So everybody had their college days. You looked at Spike Lee's movie, School Days. He had his take on his college days. And I had my take on our college days. And then as we get into the professional workplace, you got that. As you get into relationships and you go together, you break up and this, that, and the other. So all of those kinds of things that we go through, this book takes you on that 20-year journey.
So you could tell he's a writer, y'all. You could tell because of the way that he just navigated through all of that. Okay.
Yeah,
And
right.
the cookie crumbles now.
And as you could see, like I said, I told you, I'm a songwriter too, published songwriter. But my friend, this was his song. But it was so captivating to me that the story was captivating that I just said, man, this is what I have to write about because I can bring in so much other stuff in the context of all of this. And that's what I did.
So Vaughn, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What's your process when you write? Well, I mean, what when you're trying to write a book? So say we talk about the present book. What's your process? What do you go through, and how do you think about putting it step by step by step?
Okay, you say the present book, you mean this book or the book that I'm just completing right now?
Your process period, any of them.
Huh?
Your process period, any of them.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna start with the songwriting because it flows out of that. So when I write songs, I may come up with a melody, I may come up with a lyrics, I may come up with a horn line, but something will spark me. You know what I mean? And let's just say it's a lyric. So then I'll come up with a lyric, then I'll write that story, and then I'll take that story that I write, and then I'll break it down into singable bits. You know what I mean? I may have written like a little 3 or 4 paragraphs, you know what I mean? But you can't sing it like that. Now you got to break it down into singable bits. And then I'll take that and make a theme and find that hook. And then whatever that hook is, then I'll complete the rest of the lyrics around that. So when I write a story, I'm looking at a concept of what I'm doing. In the case of Why Didn't We Love, I looked at the Oliver song and the stuff that he went through. But that was just a generic shell of what the entire story was going to be about. But then I started looking at, okay, what kinds of things do I want to, to portray? Oh, the NBS, that'll be a good. I'll talk about the National Brotherhood of Skiers. So I got a note over here. Let's talk about the National Brotherhood of Skiers. Oh, the Progressive Dinner Party, that was fun. Let's talk about that. And then I just started putting all these little titles and things around. Then I started building the story and crafting the story and then intertwining these things in between them. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what my process is. Now I'm doing a new book that I'm in the process of editing the last chapter right now. And it's probably going to be out the first week of September. And it's a book in the spiritual space. And I had written a song called Altar Call back in 1992. I was very disappointed that the song didn't do what I thought it should have done, because it's like when you get saved or you come up. Because I remember when I was going through that process, they played the song Tomorrow by the Winans. And that hit me funny. I said, there should be a song for this. You know what I mean? And so I ended up writing Altar Call in 1992. And I recorded it on an artist by the name of Carla Brown that I had on my record label. And it really didn't do what we thought it was going to do. So I did another project, another gospel project in 2011 on a guy by the name of Michael Nelson. And I recorded Altar Call on him. Again, that song didn't do what I thought that it should do, so I was kind of disappointed at that. I ended up talking to a friend of mine back in December, and I was telling him how disappointed I was with the songs not doing what I want to do. And he said, Vaughn, it's not over yet. So I was on this conference with these other people, with the book awards that I met. When I went to the Impact Book Awards, the International Impact Book Awards, I met a lot of people. So I got invited to this event hosted by Los Angeles Tribune. And as I was listening to all these speakers speak, who I had met, they all had books in the nonfiction space, and those books were selling well. And I said, well, I got to come up with something in the nonfiction space, because the book that I had, well, Why Didn't We Love? And then I was working on another book called Last Night in Trinidad, which I'm still working on, and that's based on a song that I wrote, soca song, because my wife is from Trinidad, and it's all about Trinidad Carnival. So, and I wrote like 10, 11, 12 soca songs, and one of them was called Last Night in Trinidad. So I based the book on Last Night in Trinidad and all of the experiences I had going to Trinidad Carnival. So I was working on that book, But then when I was at that conference and I saw all these people that were doing something in the nonfiction space, I said, I got to come up with something in the nonfiction space. And the Holy Spirit gave me the title Altar Call, an honest depiction of a path to salvation. And it's like, wow, I get my song Altar Call back out in the limelight. I started that book on May the 5th. I'll be finished tomorrow.
Wow.
I was right, but I knew what I wanted to write about because it was all the issues that I had as a kid about God and the different issues that you come up with church and different Bible passages. I mean, I attacked things like evolution versus creation. So that's stuff I wanted to know about. Nobody ever told me. So I researched it myself. So I had a whole bunch of these things that I wanted to look into. So I found out what they were. I wrote an outline. I always write an outline, and that comes from the way of doing term papers and all that kind of stuff when I was in college. I always write an outline. And from my outline, I started creating themes. And then from the themes, I start writing narratives. And then you just start stringing those narratives together in the context of whatever it is you're trying to do. In the context of Why Didn't We Love, it was a love story. So everything was associated with a love story. How do you deal with people? How do you date? How do you communicate with one another? You know what I mean?
Okay,
And the
that's what I was
kinds of
going to
things
ask.
that cause things to break up and the things that happen that cause things to get back together or stay together. So it's those kinds of things, but they're not all my experiences. They're experiences of life that we all go through. And so
Did
I
you
just try to find a way to string them together in the context of whatever other things I want to talk about.
Go ahead, Gina.
No, I was going to ask, did you self-publish or did you use a
Yes,
publisher?
I self-published, but so in the self-publishing game, I hired a publisher, and but I pay them to do the things I need to do. So they're basically just a work for hire. So, but it's me. All the royalties go to me. All the credit goes to me. They're just a work for hire. It's like it's no different than me making a song and hiring a musician to play the drums. You know what I mean? It's my song, but I hired the guy to play the drums. You know what I mean? Or I hired the piano player, but it's my song. So it's things like that. So they just do. They help me with the editing. They help me with the book cover design. They help me with all the technical stuff, the ISBN numbers, and all of those things that you do, all the technical things you do. They're just a service that works for me, and I pay them their fee. So that's the way that I do it. Yes.
So, with Why Didn't We Love?
Uh-huh.
Is that kind of like a personal story, or again, did you just get from a lot of people?
It's both. It starts with the song, which was Oliver's story. Okay, Oliver Davis. That was his story. So I start with the song, but the song is just, it's not detailed like you would write a book. You can't write a book based on the lyrics of the song, but you can have a concept based on the song, which is what I did. Then I took those types of things that he talked about and built a story around them. There's no story there. It's just like a skeleton. But then you can take that skeleton, now you can start putting meat on the bones and things like that and take it the direction that you want to take it. So it has to do with some of the things that I've experienced, some of the things that my friends experienced, some of the things people told me about, and half of it I made up. If I was to do it like this and do it right, I'd do it like this. So a lot of that's in there too. The way that I would have done something.
Just got to
I
pick
get that.
it up and y'all gonna learn. That's what it is. Okay. Let me ask you this too. So, writing has changed, and Gene, I'm quite sure you can attest to that. Writing has changed a lot. Okay, a lot of people are writing their books through AI. All right. How do you feel about that?
I used AI in my current book that I got out right now, but I used it for research.
Mm,
It made
mm.
the research fast and easy. But what you have to do, you have to go in and now validate that research. And because if you got, it's like, garbage in, garbage out. So if you got some bad input, I mean some bad, if there was some bad input that AI grabbed, then that bad input is going to become bad output.
Right.
So you have to be careful with yourself when you get into that, but you can do it. But here's the way that I address that question. A lot of people ask me, well, did you use AI? I said, yeah. Don't you think that's cheating? I said, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you used Encyclopedia Britannica to look up anything?
Mm.
I ain't used it since high school. Yeah, that's right.
Or,
What do
or
you
they
do?
don't even know what it is.
You go to Google. Yeah, and if you get a younger kid, they don't even know what that is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you would go to Google. Well, there's a new tool that's better than Google right now.
Yep.
AI is better than Google, but like anything else, you have to learn how to use a tool. You can't give a second grader a power lawnmower, expect him to be careful and do the same things as it was if it was an eighth grader. It's the same tool, but you have to know how to use it, and you have to be mature enough to use it.
Right.
So that's where I think it's here and it's coming. And I went to a seminar, and the guy that actually hired him as my consultant in AI, and he told us in the seminar, this is coming whether you like it or not.
Yep.
I suggest you get on board because it's here and it's not going away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about AI is, like you said, garbage in, garbage out. Even though you get a set of perimeters, if you put garbage in or you're looking for garbage, guess what? Garbage gonna come back. I mean,
Exactly.
so I mean, you mess around and get a misquote in a heartbeat sometimes in AI,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the Achilles heel because
Right. That is Kitty Hill. And I had to be careful too. And I'm like I started going through this last review because I use this for research because a lot of stuff I didn't know about. So I have to go back and get other texts to kind
sources,
of validate that,
right,
to make sure that the output I got was what I really wanted it to be.
right,
So
right.
I had to do that. And then in the references and even within the context of the book, I was to put the fact that I used AI for this research and I did this, and then in the list of references, I had the details of how you're supposed to document it. So I did
So
that as
you did
well.
a credit source basically.
Not a credit source, no. I wouldn't. Well, I did a list of references.
Yeah.
So in AI, there's a way that I was taught to document that.
Oh, okay, okay,
And
okay.
that's what I did. But then I still got my books and I got, the different things, website that if I use, I put that down. The books I use, I got the Bible, I got, all these other different references
Yeah.
as well. You know what I mean?
And back it up and back it up.
Right.
So you use AI as a just a tool for reference.
I use it as a tool for research.
Okay.
Very good tool for research.
Very good for that.
So how do you market your book? I mean, and now I'm asking in general for those that are out there trying to be writers, how do you market your book?
Okay. The first book, I'm only on my second book, and then I'm working on the third book right now. But the way that I did the first book was I started with the people I know, and I went to the areas where I'm most familiar and most known. So I live in Fairfax, Virginia now, but I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area in a city called Vallejo, California. Okay. And so I started in LA. And I went to college there, so I invited the people that I knew that were my friends, my college buddies, my family that was in LA, and I started the process there. I also hired Desiree, who's a publicist,
Mm-hmm.
who's doing things for me in terms of getting me interviews, just like this interview here,
One of the
and things
best.
like
One
that.
of the best.
I contact bookstores. I contact different other entities that sell books, and you just try to work with them and go to as many seminars. I got book clubs that I contact and have contacted me, and then but I've gone and I've done a book release here in LA. I did one in my hometown of Vallejo where we actually did a banquet, serving food, did a banquet and had the people there. And it was like a reunion. People hadn't seen each other in 30 to 40 years,
Wow.
at that. And they still live in the same city,
Hmm.
but we had a good time there and I got people there and then their friends you know somebody, and they tell people. Then I went to Sacramento, I went to San Jose, I went to Las Vegas, I went to Atlanta because I got people in all these spots. And one of the things that really worked for me is I had access to several different, basically like retirement facilities, and that I was able to use a room at
Wow.
a retirement facility for free
Wow.
and be able to donate and do some things and hold the book there. But the one thing that you couldn't do, you could not sell the book on the premises where you could not have money, cash money exchange. But you
Mm-hmm.
can do cashless. So you could do Cash App, you could do
Okay.
Zelle, you could do PayPal. You know what I mean? But you could not physically exchange money on the premises. So that was interesting, you know what I mean? But I was able to do some things like that. And then book clubs is the way to get it. And then as I'm doing more press, then you take that press, build your website, and then you start contacting more people, and more people are interested in you. And then so it's kind of scratch my back, scratch your back kind of thing as you keep moving forward. And then I'm also on Amazon and on Google and other different platforms, electronic platforms as well.
You are an aerospace engineer.
I'm an aerospace engineer. I learned how to do stuff.
So
Yeah, I know a lot of stuff, but if I don't know it, I know how to research it and find out about
Exactly. Exactly. Like it's always got to be somebody to fix the tech. Is what I used to say.
it. Exactly.
so let me ask you, I mean, I know you're writing and you're enjoying it, that's your passion, that's great. Do you think that there was something else maybe that you might have missed as far as trying to,
In life,
yeah.
yeah, not getting a hit record.
Oh,
Mm.
well, you was around.
Mm.
You was hovering around it.
I was trying to
I feel
get
you on
there,
that one.
but I
I
didn't
feel
make
you.
it. No, but no, not really, because what I really wanted to do was be a professional baseball player, and I didn't make
Mm.
that. So had to pivot at 18.
Uh, uh,
So
so you actually tried out for the
no,
MLB
no, 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 I didn't. I was just I made it to a state tournament at 18, but that's as far as I went.
high school.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There are a lot of people that are out there writing, and Gina can attest to that as well, all right? But they get to a certain point and then they stop. How did what advice would you give them to
Here I
keep
asked,
pushing?
okay, I was talking to I have a mentor. My mentor is Nim Stant, who is the head of the International Impact Book Awards. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of put myself under her wing, right?
Hmm.
And and she was asking me, how do you do all this stuff? You're doing, I mean, at the time I was, when I wrote Write It We Love, I was still, doing the engineering thing full time. See, now
Wow.
I'm just consulting, you know what I mean? But she said, how did you do that? I said, I stopped watching TV.
Oh, oh,
I
you be
was watching TV 6, 7 hours a night.
exactly. A
And
lot of people.
I came home from work at 5 o'clock. I went and did my workout from 5 to 5:30. I took my shower from 5:30 to 6. I fixed my dinner and relaxed from 6 to 7. And I wrote from 7 to midnight every night.
Wow. Yeah, people spend a lot of time in front of the TV.
Right. And then here's the other thing that I did too, Greg.
Not authors.
Here's the other
Authors
thing that I
don't.
did too, Greg. I wrote a screenplay for Why Didn't We Love? So the screenplay is done. So as soon as I finish this new book, I'm getting ready to market the screenplay for Why Didn't We Love?
And you know what? I think what we're trying to do is give this master class now, okay? Because you're teaching people, okay? Gina teaches all the time, okay? But now it's coming from a different perspective, a different person. And I think that if people were to listen and to get involved as far as what they're doing and how they're writing and the whole process, I think it'd be a whole lot more successful authors out there. You don't have to be an aerospace engineer in order to write a book, right?
No, no. And check out, but this is what I did. Because of my engineering, I learned how to do certain things. Before I wrote the book, I didn't even know I wanted to be an author at that
See,
point in time, but I was a
that's what I'm talking
songwriter.
about.
But I
Right.
was a songwriter. I went to a seminar at UCLA where John Grisham was the keynote speaker.
Wow.
And John Grisham asked the audience, did we know what his profession was? And somebody said, yeah, you're a lawyer. He says, correct. He said, what are my books and movies about? And they say, law. He said, write what you know. And that's another reason I did Why Didn't We Love, because I was familiar with the music business. I was familiar with engineering. So I made the heroine be an engineer because I understood engineering. So I wrote what I know. And that was another reason why I selected Why Didn't We Love, and I made him be a musician. I made him be an engineer. You know what I mean? I gave him the things and the characteristics that I knew about and I had. Even though it's a fictional story, his attributes are my attributes. So if you like Bobby Vale, you like me.
I
If
was
you
getting
don't
ready to
like
say.
Bobby Vale, you ain't gonna like me.
Hey man, we're talking with award-winning author Von King. All right, he's out there doing this thing. Okay, there's a lot of people that really want to talk to him. We get the opportunity to because Desiree brought him to us. But he has a book called Why Didn't We Love, and we're learning a lot about writing. Let me ask you this, Von. You're as a writer, you write your book. What type of books do you like to read?
I always read historical figures that I like. I read a lot of sports books. I used to read about Willie Mays and those kind of things that I have. And I'm a real big Negro League buff. So I reading a lot of stuff about the Negro Leagues, and I have a lot of Negro League memorabilia that I've collected as well. But I read about historical figures mostly. You know, that's what like the Black Panthers. I read about Huey Newton, and I read about, Bobby Seale and all, because those guys were around when I was coming up.
Yep.
So like I said, I read a lot about historical figures, and I like romantic comedies, and I like gangster movies.
Okay,
And
so let's
so I
get to,
read a lot about gangster stuff.
so let me get to that. So you're reading about these romantic novels and the gangsters and this and that. Once you read these books, because I'm assuming that you read them from beginning to end.
Yes.
When you look at those, is there anything in those books when you read them that you would change?
I really didn't read it from that perspective, really. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
just kind of take it for what they said that they did and roll with it from there. I didn't really do a lot of that.
Okay, I mean that's understandable. That's respectable. Okay, because there's sometimes like when we watch movies, we look at
Uh-huh.
the movies and say, "Man, I would have did this differently." Okay, and Gina
Okay.
is one of those that she's now learned the scores. Okay,
Yeah.
See, I'm a little bit different than that way, Greg. Rather than do it differently, I say, man, I'll do one like this.
Oh,
Not
okay.
do they thing different. I'll say, okay, I didn't think they should have done that. I'll do one about that. They left that out. So
Right.
I'm more that kind of guy.
that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Do you mentor people? Do you teach others how to write?
I have not, but I'm just getting ready to start me a new business. And I just did my DBA for all of that. And people who have been coming to me to help me do their books and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just now putting a business together. And like I said, I just got finished, got the name cleared for it. I got my cousin working on the logo and my press information about it, and it'll be coming out probably around October 1st. I'll be launching that new business, but it's going to be in that vein where I'm going to be conducting seminars. I'm going to be helping people to do their books, and and it's going to be a turnkey operation.
Hmm.
Okay, so your one book is out, but I know you got other stuff going on, right? I mean, you mentioned
Right.
earlier that you got another book that's coming out. What's that book about?
The one that's coming out right now is called Altar Call: An Honest Depiction of a Path to Salvation. It's in the spiritual realm. It's dealing with religious stuff that I started as a child, and the things and questions I had as a child and how I addressed them and then things that I wanted to know about that I never did learn. So I did the research and learned it myself. And then I figured somebody else might have these kind of questions. So if they do, it'll be a great book for them because they won't have to do the research
So
since I
what was
already did it.
so what was your denomination?
I started out as a Baptist and evolved to non-denominational.
Mm. That's
And
crazy.
check this out. But check this out. Let me tell you this, Greg. In the first book, Why Didn't We Love? I told you I got into the religious stuff there in that book. I
Right.
addressed the issues of speaking in tongues in
Wow.
Why Didn't We Love?
Wow.
Why Didn't We Love? Here, I addressed the issue of speaking in tongues because the issue of speaking in tongues became an issue in my life.
Mm.
I would like to hear more about that.
Between my mother and I.
So was it a conflict or was it just
It was a conflict.
uh-huh. So we
What
got to
kind
get
of conflict could there be with
That's what you're
speaking in
saying.
Difference
tongues?
of
I'm
Hold
opinion.
not understanding.
Difference of opinion.
on. Okay. So we got to get the book is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Y'all
Okay.
crazy.
Both
Y'all
sides
crazy.
are represented. Then my
Gotcha,
mom
bro.
was on one side and I was on the other.
Man.
You can
I
tell.
I mean
Go ahead, Mo.
I remember the same type of, I wouldn't say conflicts, disagreements, like you just said,
Yeah.
and you know, me and my dad, and it was, you know, a lot of, and that was Church of God in Christ. So,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, that was the denomination, but it seems how many forks. I mean, I'm sorry. Well, all roads lead to the same type of belief, and you have
Hmm.
some deviation from one to the other. And
Right.
you know that the thing about it is that it's like a fork, just like I was going to say. It's the handle that has the many different, you know, splines on it, and that's what I was trying to explain to Dad, and he wasn't having it. You know, he was like, "It's absolute right here, homie."
Right. Right.
You
Right. Yeah.
know?
You know what I'm saying? I went through that
so,
with my mama. I'm
so
gonna tell you this. My mother has since passed, but my mama
my
slapped me.
father's not here no more.
My mother
Yeah.
slapped me in the middle of the argument. Or it wasn't an argument. It wasn't an argument. It was
Disagreement.
like, it was like
Hmm.
and it got off subject. And because my mother graduated from Cal Berkeley, right, in the 60s. So she went to Cal Berkeley in the 60s, right?
Wow.
And she
That's that.
said, so she pulled rank on me. She said, little boy,
Hmm.
I graduated from Cal Berkeley. And I said, and I graduated from Loyola Marymount University, and you paid for it. And
Pow
she,
pow.
wow. I say, you hit me because you know you're wrong.
Oh no, you didn't.
And yeah, and
You
then
you was trying to
she,
get put out the car and walk
oh
back
no,
home,
then she
wasn't you?
started laughing and she said, okay, we're gonna agree to disagree. And that's how we left it.
I was gonna say you was trying to get put out
But
the
you
car
got
and
that
walking
slap
home, huh?
though. You got
No,
that
I was
slap.
grown at that point.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I was going to ask him. I was going to ask him did he have the support of his parents with this, but I guess I'm
But
gonna
my
have to
mother
look.
told me one thing that was really interesting because I told mom, I said, Mom, you know, one of the reasons I like writing, I said, you get to lie. She said, it's called fictionalized, baby.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a funny dude, man. You're a funny dude. Hey, so speaking of stuff like that, man, when you get those obstacles, when you get those people that is naysayers,
Mhm.
how do you navigate through them?
I have never been the person that followed the crowd ever in my life. Like I didn't do the drugs, I didn't do the this, I didn't do the that. You know, when I was in high school, I wouldn't have sex because
Yeah.
my father say, "Hey man, you got to worry about venereal disease, you got to worry about getting somebody pregnant. You got." I say, "Look, I ain't doing that."
Imagine
So,
that.
huh?
Church of God in Christ.
So it's like, I ain't
Uh-uh.
getting into that. And I saw other people
Hmm.
my age mess up in that realm. I say, I don't want that for me. You know what I mean? So I'm going to college. I was so unfocused. So I've never been that kind of person that was teased or, had any kind of things. Because I'm always been a type A type personality, and I
Mm.
always had capability to do stuff. I was able to play sports. I had a pretty good mind, and I was able to, do well in school, do well in work. You know what I mean? And even do well in music, even though I didn't get a hit record, but I did do some things that made some money,
That's
But
not, sound
I
like you
never
still want to
did
do that.
need that. So people who criticize me, and I guess it stemmed from here. I was driving down the Lion Country Safari when I was in college. And I had a group of guys in my car that wanted to smoke some weed. And I said, look, you can't smoke no weed in my car. They said, well, what you want to do? I pulled over at Lion Country Safari. You get out and you smoke right here. You know what I mean? And I'm not intimidated by nobody because I know don't nobody have my best interests like my parents do or like people who close to me that know me.
That's right.
So
That's
I
right.
never have been motivated by somebody teasing me or enticing me. I said, man, I thought you said you like smoking weed. Well, did you smoke your weed? It's more for you. If I don't smoke, why you need me to smoke the weed for you to enjoy it?
Right.
I never did understand that. So I have never been intimidated by that.
Okay, I mean that's cool. I'm not intimidated either, but you know, some people say so much and they talk so much, and you
And you
wind
know
up.
what I do? I look at their life and all that talking, where they at. And this is what, and that's I bring some of that up in the book. In this book, I bring some of that up. You got guys, I think I have to talk about the 10-year high school reunion. And I bring up that kind of stuff that happened. And you know, when I got to the 10-year high school reunion, some of the guys' greatest days was when they was a high school basketball star. That was the greatest day of their life.
Yep.
It's a lot of people like that. So I look at people's life and see where that's at. And like I said, I navigate away from those people.
Okay, and those are the people that basically will hold you back. Those are the ones that
Right. You got to get past that. So
get past.
you ain't holding me back.
Definitely got to get past it. So what makes Von King happy?
I guess my friends are real important to me. So being able to stay in communication with my friends, I got a group of college alumni group. It's about a group of 11 of us, and we still stay in contact right now. And we go out to different events and different musical festivals and things like that. So my friends are one of the things that really, that I enjoyed, and that makes me happy. Uh, Obtaining success, and it doesn't have to be financial success, but just like doing the book, making the completion of projects. I'm a project-oriented person. So completion of projects is another thing that really makes me happy. And then seeing
What
my
about
kids
the
go up and
music?
do good. Huh?
What'd you say, Gina?
What about the music? Would you ever go back to it?
I'm still doing it, but I'm just not doing it as well. I mean, as much. I had dinner with a friend of mine in the Bay Area probably 2 weeks ago. Guy by the name of Johnny Tucker, and he goes by Sergeant Tucker. And Sergeant Tucker and I got together back in the days when we was hanging out at Sly Stone Studio together, back when we was in our early 20s. And Johnny is still doing music. And he just got finished telling me 2 weeks ago, he told me about this book that I need to get about Spotify. He said, Vaughn, you need to take all the music you got, all the masters you own, and make them singles and put them out on Spotify. So I told Johnny, I said, when I get home, which I'm going home, I've been out on the road since the 24th of July, but I'm going home Sunday, September 1st. And when I get home, I'm going in my storage and get all my masters, and I'm getting ready to put everything out as a single on Spotify.
Hey man, let me be the road manager for your tour, dude. Come on now.
See, I'm not an artist though. That's the one thing about me. I'm not an artist. I can't sing a lick.
So
But I
are they
can write.
so is all that registered?
Yes.
So you might get some picks for some people just wanting to do the song, cover it.
That's what Johnny was telling me. He
Yep.
said, find your stuff in store. I said, Johnny, I'm a writer, man. I'm writing books. That's what I do. He said, you better go get that music out of storage and put that stuff as singles on Spotify. He basically ridiculed me.
And then
You
on
don't
your
have a choice,
Spotify,
bro. You don't have a choice.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said you don't have a choice, man. You got to do it.
Yeah, that's what he told me. And he told me to go
Yeah.
get this book. And I ordered the book from Amazon, so it's at my house right now.
What's so crazy is that a lot of artists don't use that resource to the fullest, because you can put your RAA information up there, so you can go look at the actual songs downtown, here in Nashville, or pull them up online and go take a look at them.
Right.
And you can actually look at all of your work, not just that one song.
Yeah, and Sergeant Tucker stuff is doing well over in Europe.
Right. You just
He's on the indie charts in Europe.
that is crazy because that's usually where all the sauce is kept. Now
Right.
it seems like they do a little bit more appreciation sometimes. We don't get appreciated as much
Yep.
here
Yeah,
as we do over there.
I just got literally, what's today, Thursday? Must have been Monday. I got an email from a guy over in Europe who heard one of the songs that I did back in 1981 that I did on vinyl.
Mm,
And it's basically been pirated on vinyl, right? And he said, "Man, can I cut a deal with you and turn all this music into digital
distribution.
music, and you give me the rights for 2 years?" That's what he wants me to do.
That's a lot of money, man. If
So
you got,
I haven't looked at the contract yet, and I haven't turned it over to my
I was
attorney
getting
yet
ready to
because I'm
say,
trying to get this book done. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, usually they'll hit you up on a distribution deal like that at about 15 at 185, 85 to
Okay.
15, 85 them, 15 you.
Okay.
Hey Von, so Mo's a ex-promoter, so that's why he's talking all of this money and all. He's an
Uh,
ex-promoter.
I
Hey,
live in
that's one thing
Nashville,
about me. I
so
I do not have an issue with experts because I know how. That's one thing that my mentor told me. She said, "You're very coachable. You're older than I am. You're got these technical degrees, but you're coachable." I said,
yeah.
"Hey, I understand experts. I'm not an expert in the area that you're an expert in,
Mhm.
so I know how to yield to that."
I remember my daddy telling me the thing about people that know what they're doing, they'll tell you everything. Yeah. And that made me a good listener, folks. I used to lock into that.
Hmm.
They'll tell you everything.
So that's I mean that's it's just I'd say it's different because people are people. People gonna be who they're gonna be, and we just gotta keep rolling. All right,
Hmm.
um, Vaughn, we appreciate you coming to the show today, brother, hanging out with us, telling us all about your journey and telling us how to get that we don't have to have an engineering degree and launch rockets in order to do books and other things.
No, not at all. You got to have a story.
But
You got to have a story.
if you were trying to tell somebody, hey, this is why I do this. If it was some words of wisdom for anybody that's wants to be an author or do what you do, or even life, okay, what would it be? Take it, take your time.
Basically, you got to have a story. So you need to have something interesting to say. So, like I would tell them, what is one of the best things that you enjoyed doing or had success doing that you think somebody else might want to know about?
Hmm.
And it
Okay.
could be something that happened or something that you would create, that you can create. Do you have a science fiction character or something that you're interested in? Any kind of story? What are you interested in? And then, like I said, write what you know.
Yeah, we can, and that's the thing I was going to say earlier, okay? Because you mentioned it 2 times already. You only can write or speak on what you know. You make
Right.
it look really stupid if you try to talk about something that you do not know. So,
Hmm.
man, you giving us a lot of information, a master class basically on this. Seriously, anything we can do here at Dope Living TV for you, we got.
Please, if you do load up on Spotify, let me know how that turns out.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I have some people on there already, and it does do what it does, but you got to have promotions, and I know why he's leaning into you. Evidently, he's looked at the library and checked out not just one song, but a few songs, and
Okay.
and so it's not. Trust me, when he gets a hold of it, and when you get the replay, when you get it back, it's gonna be a whole different thing. And the one thing you want to do is make sure you check on what he's doing if you go through this deal. In other words,
Okay.
you don't want to be so deviated from what you actually did that if he went to court with you and say, well, no, that's not up. We reproduced it at X.
Man, Vaughn been in this game. You know what he's doing.
I know.
He's
I'm
been in this
Now,
sorry.
game. You know what he's
does the
doing.
music need to be copywritten?
Well, yeah,
No,
it
it's already
does.
copywritten.
Yeah, that's why I asked him, is he registered
Okay.
up?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
already registered. They're all
yeah.
registered.
Down at RAA,
Y'all,
downtown Nashville.
y'all
That's
talking to
where I'm at.
Vaughn. Y'all talking to Vaughn
Okay.
like he did
Yeah,
this.
but
Y'all talking to.
I'm a BMI writer,
Oh, okay.
and all my stuff is registered through the Library of Congress.
Yeah, see,
I
he's
have
already there.
PA forms on all of them,
But then he has his masters and he owns them.
and I own the
That's the
masters. And
key.
that's the question that Johnny, my friend Sergeant
Yeah.
Tucker, He said, Vaughn, do you own the Masters? I said, I own all of them. Yeah.
That's right. That is the big key.
And he's an aerospace engineer.
Yeah. You know, I
They
want to.
didn't pay me for that.
I got to keep throwing that in, okay?
You
Because
know.
to me, Vaughn, and we're gonna probably have to talk again sometime, man.
Okay.
We can't get the correlation between aerospace engineer.
I wanted to go into robotics. I get it.
Yeah.
I can't get it, but I love that you're doing it, okay? And you know, you writers, you guys are taking us to another place. You take us out of normalcy and take us to another place and make us see something through your eyes, which is always great, okay? Mo, we got to get out of here.
Okay.
Man, I feel your brain, brother. I love what
All right.
you're doing.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, bro, I feel your brain big time. Just please let us know when it's if we could do anything with you on that promotion on Spotify.
Okay.
You know, hit us up, let us know, and dude, I'm open to any suggestions. If you already don't have it locked down, give me a holler.
No, I don't have anything locked down. I said I just got scolded 2 weeks ago by Sergeant Tucker. So so I haven't even made it home yet.
Yeah.
Gina.
I would have thought he would be writing IT books, but okay. But you know what I'm going to talk about.
I'm in IT, so
I'm not interested in that off my personal time. You know, I want to write music. I want to do the things that I like to do. That was to get a paycheck.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You know what's coming November 10th? Distinguished Authors Guild. So that's
Chicago in Northwest Indiana. Get ready for an epic night to remember. We are honoring the past and awarding the future. The Distinguished Authors Guild presents its 5th annual Literary Award Show and VIP Gala. Sunday, November 10th at Theater 47, 350 Victory Drive in Park Forest, Illinois. Proceeds from ticket sales go towards scholarships for first-year creative writing college students. This is a black tie event. Purchase your tickets now at eventbrite.com, keyword Distinguished Authors Guild. For more information, call 219-742-4305. That's 219-742-4305. And remember, everything that glitters is gold.
All right. Get your tickets. Eventbrite Distinguished Authors Guild. Come out and enjoy the night with authors and help college students pursue their education.
Had a ball with you, Rod. This noise out here is killing me, and I apologize for it, man. Okay, but you got to come back again, man, because there's a lot more we need to talk about. Right?
Oh, Greg, I just want to tell you one thing. I did do some mentoring of black students through the Society of Black Engineers. I did do some mentoring of young high school students entering into college back in the
and we don't want to miss. I don't want to miss anything that you've done. So if there's anything else that you want to say real quick, go ahead, bro.
No, I'm good. I just wanted to let you know that I did do that because I did mentor young high school students as they were entering into college because they didn't have a lot of the backgrounds that some of the other non-black kids, had.
Yeah.
So I had to catch them up on how to do certain things so that they wouldn't be behind when they got into college.
Right.
I think you should do a lot more of that too, man. And like I said, if there's anything that you want to do, like we're in the Midwest right here, if there's anything that you want to do that we can help you with, just let us know, man. And again, you are welcome to come to the show anytime you get ready. Shout out to Desiree, I'm sorry. All right. She's a powerhouse. Okay. Let's put
right.
I got to shout out my publicist too, Katina. I'm not downplaying you. I'm just saying, Desiree, I just met her. She's doing her thing. Okay, so shout out to Desiree. And Vaughn, shout out to you, bro, because you are changing the way people are writing. You are changing the way people are marketing their books. And you got so much knowledge, man. People need to listen to what you're saying, all right? And even though you may not want these accolades, I'm going to give them to you while you're here, okay? So we can still give them to you. And you can enjoy it, bro.
Okay, thank you very much.
We appreciate you, man. We're not going to be on.
Good meeting you, Rod.
Huh?
It was good meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Rod. His name is Vaughn.
Yeah, Roderick Vaughn King, but I go by my middle name Vaughn.
Vaughn, yeah.
His pen name is Vaughn. Let's call him Vaughn.
Okay.
That's that legal name. That's that legal name. Yes, he's super.
I know how to read. It says Roderick King.
That's
All right.
good. We will not be on Labor Day, but we'll be at Tuesday. Okay, so you guys enjoy your Labor Day.
All the dag authors.
Let's go. The authors are
all
coming on next week too.
Following week. All
Vaughn,
the dag authors.
I'm gonna tag you on these shows next week, Vaughn, so you can check out these authors. And you want to jump in and tell them, because I don't like a lot of them authors Gina got on. I'm gonna tag them.
Stop
No,
it,
I'm joking. I'm joking. But I'm gonna tag you on those so you can come and check us out too.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, Vaughn,
Fantastic.
thank you so much, bro, for coming through.
Okay, thank you.
All right, this is DopelivenTV Live, y'all. We'll see you guys Tuesday. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.